Yes. You're all a bit calmer now, aren't you, Shelly Dwellies? It's a bit empty in there. Hey, all good. Yeah. Suppose we better get this thing started now the adverts are finished. Oh well. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Oh there. Sunday shop do 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 do. Oh, pardon me. And what a well-timed burp. And hello, Jeff. How are you, sir? I hope all is well with you. Oh, yeah, so welcome to Sunday. Welcome to Sunday Sharp, where things get weird. And sometimes we talk about fish. And sometimes we talk about cycling or ghosts or movies or music or food or grumble about the weather. Yeah, I am English, so it is a national pastime. Um, but yes, so we'll start this end of the week and we'll kind of work backwards, forwards, and what have you. So Monday, well, actually, we'll start at the beginning. Monday, got all my water changes done, all the tanks done, apart from one. Because Tuesday, g'day, Marquis Mark. How art thou, Sir Stilson? So it's Tuesday, complete strip down, empty, degunk, and rescape the Fluval Flex that I've been breeding the Super Reds in. Um, if you saw the short I put up on probably Tuesday, that's how it did look. Then I put Fred and Mr. Pisto back in there, and Fred has since fully rescaped the tank. You've dug out some dirty great holes under the woodwork and the cave and the coconut hut, and you've just done what bristle noses do when you put them in a tank. And from that had a massive pile again of Anubius and Cryptoindicii that needed getting rid of. So they went to the LFS today, along with 30 common, 30 super red, bristle noses, and 10 shelly dwellies. Thank you very much, Jeff. I was on the verge of heat stroke again for doing that one. But while we were down there, while we were at said LFS, I mean, if you keep an eye out, let's see if we can get a bit more of that tank in view. If you keep an eye out, you might see some movement in there, which is some fishes that are in quarantine. I've got a trio. No, they're not live bearers. Yeah, it's been rather warm. It's still been 30 degrees C today, which is mid to high 90s and 80 to 90% humidity. So yes, very unpleasant. Which leads me to the big issue of the week. Yes, ooh, no fishies. Yes, been quite a while since I had new fishies, got to say. And yes, already done a deal that if, when I breed them, yeah, they'll have the babies. But the big thing of the week, and the reason, believe it or not, I actually had a week off work, was the cycle of MarriHOTS Way. Now, the MarriHOTS Way itself doesn't sound too impressive. It's 26 miles on gravel pathways. It's the old train line from Aylsham, Reetham, Lemway, Castcorston, all the way around that. Evening, Quirky and Patty. How are you both? And Steph. I've got all the cool kids. But for some reason, yeah, the weather was silly. I still did it, even though it was 30 degrees. The actual way, the first 30 miles was wonderful, lovely. Shaded by the trees, a little bit of a breeze, just really nice, flat or very gentle slopes. Really enjoyed that part of the ride. Going back a bit, I actually started in North Walsham because there isn't a train station in Aylsham, so it was like a 7-mile ride to start the ride. But yeah, got pretty much most of the way down that. Aha! Rico! Thank you very much. I shall have a Luke say later. Been a busy bunny. Sundays normally are for me. But good to see you, Rico. Apologies for missing your streams lately. Either work, been busy, or too hot. I've just been going. I'm watching reruns of old World Endurance Championship races on YouTube. Yeah, so I did the first 30-ish miles. Then one of the bridges that was on the old railway bridges was closed for work on it because it's a couple of 100 years old or more. So I had to find a route around, which meant I ended up veering off the lovely, leafy, covered, breezy, beautiful MarriHOTS Way, heading into Norwich City on an A road, uphill, no shade, no cover, no breeze. And by the time I'd done another probably 2 miles and got into the Norwich where I was planning on stopping for lunch, I was starting to get a heat stroke. Tried to find shade and shelter, failed. Managed to refill my water bottles though from, I say work, another branch of where I work. So thankfully I had a little bit of cooler water for a bit. It took me 3 hours to do the first 30 miles and then 4.5 to do the last 20. Yeah, there were some fun moments of flaking out and nearly being sick and blacking out, kind of heat strokey stuff, but I got home in the end. Once I got cooled down, I was all fine. No real aches or pains either. Quads were a bit iffy for a day or so, but just cycled 50 miles. I expect that. No backache or anything else, so all good. And then, as I said, yeah, the rest of the week it's just been ridiculously hot. I've been trying to catch up on housework and stuffs, which really sucks butt. Also, I did film. Technically, I filmed the entirety of the MarriHOTS Way, although for whatever reason the GoPro decided it was going to film 13.5 minutes, then stop recording but carry on looking like it's recording. So yeah, we've got like 39 minutes of footage from that. We've also got 13 minutes of me rescaping the tank rather than full 30, which is how long it takes to rescape a 15-gallon tank. Howdy, Linkbot and Barbara, hello, and to anyone else I've missed because all the cool kids are showing up tonight. But yes, I'll check out that email once I'm done and remember Rico. Yeah, so I figured I'd finish the week on a good note and get the new officialies, which are hiding. They're in quarantine at the moment. Obviously, I've got the light off on the tank, so they're less stressed. I can see all 3 of them from here, though. So if I turn the camera around a little bit more, you might just see them. You might just see the movement in that tank. And if anyone can guess what they are, excuse me. If you've got any ideas, let me know in the... Stick a comment if you think you've got an idea what I might have got a trio of. And for clues, they're not live bearers, they're not tetras, or ickle fishies, and they're not bristlenoses. Old and blind, can't see a thing. Don't worry about it, Mark. I can barely see them from here. Not a pistos, no. Not a million miles away. No. Howdy, Kenny. No, they're not. They're not any form of plecky creature. That's something I've not had before. Well, not this particular flavour of, anyway. I've had. Yeah, I got 4 eyes as well. Speaking of which, I actually got in trouble at a previous job for calling someone 4 eyes. Because they complained that I called them 4 eyes and that it was offensive and they didn't like it. And I got called at the office. We call them 4 eyes. And I'm like, duh. It's not really an offence when you're the same thing. Right, okay, yeah, fair enough. Yes, snowflake. But, someone who never had which had 6 eyes is better than mine are. Yeah, but would that make your eyesight 3 times better or 3 times worse, Jeff? So it's 6 that are the same as they are at the moment. You're not going to be any better off. Well, you'd be seeing the world like a spider does, pretty much. And we all know what happens to those around here. I actually did have the first big spitter come in the other day. I say it came in the other day. I saw it the other day, and from the moment I saw it to the moment it died was probably about a second. It was like, oh, dead. Like, yeah. I say big old, but we're talking big old spider for England, so barely the size. Probably, yeah, not far short of the size of the palm of my hand. So if you've got normal man hands, think about the size of your wife's hands. And yeah, about the size of the palm. Yeah, it's just a female coming in looking for a mate. And she managed to make quite successfully with the sole of my slipper. And I know, but they eat the flies. They keep the flies down. Not around here, they don't. Trio, not a live bearer, not a pisto. Is it wild? Probably not wild caught. I mean, it's a wild type, but it's not a human adjusted type. It's how they come out of the wild, but it's probably a captive bred. And looking at the size and the healthiness of them, I'm guessing locally bred as well. No, not betters. I will do either do a species profile, having kept them for like 3 days or something, or I'll do a new fish video. It's something I've been threatening to get for a while because their cousins really don't do well in my water. Yes, the Germans do not like the Norfolk water. Do it all and make it a lengthy video. God, you just want me to make really long videos, don't you, Jeff? Do you want me to just point the camera at a tank and then like tell a story or something? I can do that. That's not a problem. I just got to remember to use the camcorder and not the GoPro. Yeah, yeah, you're on the right track there, Mark. You're getting warmer. Yeah, and these ones get a bit chunkier than the ones you're thinking of. And I will be keeping them in a 15-gallon tank. Yay, Jeff got it right. Well done, Jeff. Yeah, so now we just got to find a source of some white powder to put in the tank for the Bolivians, and we should be good. But yes, it's a trio of Bolivian rams. I say trio, I'm not sure whether they've got males or females because they're still fairly young. And yeah, if you know Bolivian rams, you know they're really tricky to sex anyway. Because males have this, but sometimes females do too, and females have this, and sometimes males do too. Howdy, Clarky. Been working weekends for a while. I feel your misery. Managed to have one also jumped on. Welcome aboard. Yes, it seems pretty much the only way I can not work weekends is to take a week off. But yeah, so trio of Bolivian rams. Gonna guess they're going to be a microgeophagus, aren't they? But they're not a Ramirezi or Ramirezi. Boliviani? I don't know. I'll find that stuff out later. Because I've really done my research on these new fish, like I tell everyone to do. Before you get new fish, do your research. Yeah, I did about 30 seconds research of how to tell the difference between males and females. It was like, oh, right, it's just by the egg tube. Okay. Howdy, Nabo. So there we are. That's what we've been up to this week. It's very strange for me to go into a fish store and come out with fish. I normally go in with fish and come out with money. Well, I came out with fish and money, so, you know, result. Didn't do the hashtag 34532343542. Okay, fair enough. I take fishing and come out broke. Oh dear. Yeah, so I've got that sorted. Yeah, almost to the point now where it basically is a business, and they don't even bother counting anymore or checking. It's just like, oh, cool, bag of them, they can go in that tank. Oh, bag of those, they can go in that tank. Oh, bag of them, where are we going to put them? Oh, in there. Nice, more. Yeah, so yes, other people get their fish counted or checked for being healthy and things like that first, or they go into the quarantine room and go straight into the display tanks. They probably even sold a couple before the time I'd left. Because there were some rather chunky super reds in there as well. I found a couple that had escaped. You know, when you think there's nothing, or one or two maybe left in the tank, and then you have a good look and you find about 50, and some of them are like 2-3 inches long, and you're like, oh, whoops. It's the almighty dollar, Jeff. They're more worried about lining their pockets than yours. Despite the fact that, you know, your fish are going to be healthier than the ones they buy slightly cheaper from the importer. Yeah, they're going to be healthier, they're going to be stronger, they're going to be bigger. I'm always slightly overstocked, Mark. I mean, I think I'm down to about 800 bristle noses now. Yeah, exactly. That's what I like about what my LFS is like. Is they know the fish that I'm providing are bigger, stronger, healthier, happier, more used to being in a tank rather than in a concrete vat or something. They're used to tank life with buddies. And yeah, they just fly out the door and they get 0 losses. I think I was saying if they order in 100 bristle noses from a supplier, they get maybe 75% survival rate. So we get 100 from you, and we get 100 fish. We don't get any losses. This is not deaths, anyways. There's the occasional one escapes into the sump or something, or we forget where it is. But yeah. So maybe that's something you should point out. Yeah, that your fish have been raised in the local water, and they will be stronger and healthier. Don't have to pay shipping. Exactly. But then there's a general move in the UK and Europe for, you know, being able to trace where food, for example, comes from exactly. You know, if you go into a supermarket and buy a punnet of strawberries, you can figure out from the packaging and the codes on it exactly which farm it came from. Things like that. So you know if you're buying local, or and if it's outside of the EU, I think, or outside of the UK now, it has to say which country of origin it is. Mr. KJE Aquatics himself, Keith, how you doing? Hola. Yeah, it's a weird thing to me, the whole we will take your fish, but we won't pay you for them. I mean, okay, first couple of times I took fish in, they, you know, begrudgingly gave me a little bit of money, or like some money off the next, because I'd take in, say, a bag full of platties and come out with a couple of something else. So I built up the relationship, as it were. Oh, pardon me. I'm not doing things like that in the shop. I've been pleasant and easy to get on with, and asking them what they would like. You know, what sells well? What would you like local breeders to breed? Those kind of things. Helping out with some customers. Because even though, you know, they're fairly knowledgeable in there, they don't necessarily know all the fish. There was someone asking questions about the shrimp a few months back, because I happened to be in there, and the guy says, actually, that guy that bred them, he knows. Ask him. What fish can we put with them? Nothing that eats insects. Yeah. Things like plecos you're fine with. Or opiscinclus or things like that. But yeah, nothing that is an omnivore, because noma. Yeah. Today, yeah, I took in basically a plastic carrier bag full of Anubias and crits, and yeah, I didn't get anything for them. They will sell them, but yeah, what was I going to do? I was going to chuck them in the bin because I've got nowhere really to keep that many or replant. You know, it's not like I'm short of some Anubias or crypts, is it really? So yeah, but you know, their plant selection is full. So yeah, I mean, there wasn't that much Anubias. There's only about 3 feet of Anubias nana. So, you know, a couple of dozen crits. Yeah, exactly as Mark says, a little goodwill. And it's like, you know, it's almost like me saying, yeah, thank you for buying my fish. Here, have some free plants. And if the plants do well and they sell them through, and people are asking, where are those Anubiases you had that weren't in the pots? You know, if they sell well, then they might want more. So the last time I binned a bunch of plants was because they were in a tank that had been infected with Camellanus worms, and I wouldn't have given those to anyone, just in case. You know, that tank hasn't got Camellanus worms or anything nasty in it, so at the very worst, they might come with a batch of free pink or blue ram's horn snail eggs. As I say, they sat in a bucket of water most of the week, so what snails there were probably in the bottom of the bucket by now. Yeah, it's for some reason I can grow Anubias like weed. Weeds, not weed. If I could grow weed like I could grow Anubias, I'd be a very happy man. Battling scuds and feeding the cichlids well. Oh, is there a design for a scud trap? Probably. What tank are the scuds in, Jeff? So I may have an idea. It depends what other fish are in the tank with them. Black mollies. Right, so we're not particularly worried about maybe an odd molly getting trapped. Eat some of them, yeah. What I would do, get one of the little, like 500ml Coke bottles, the little ones. Israel was a scud trap. Oh yes, I remember the headlines from back then. Iraq fires scores of Scud missiles at Israel, slightly injuring 3 civilians. Um, yeah, get a 500ml Coke bottle, cut the top off around where it gets the full width, flip that over, pop it back in, so you've got like a cone into the main bottle. Chuck a few pellets or something in there that the scuds might like to eat. Sink it in the tank, let it fill up with scuds, and then just take it out and job done. That's probably the best way to catch a lot of them quickly. without catching all the mollies, because mollies be mollies, and they're like guppies. They just swim into the net when you don't want them to. Hey, evening, Dennis. How are you? Did Dan do a? I think Dan might have done a video on how to make that particular trap. I've not got one kicking around. Dan, might have been Graham. One of them did. I'm sure. I think it might have been Graham when he fell in the river. Oh, Dennis is watching football. Football or handball? So remembering, football, as the name would suggest, is played with the feet. And soccer is what you play without boots on. Yes, we call them football boots rather than cleats over this part of the planet. Mainly because their cleats have spikes, not studs. American or the rest of the world. No feet, just hands, yes. So, but you're watching start, play, stop, grow up, reset, start, stop. That's the thing I just can't get into with watching American football. Having watched rugby quite a few times, many times, it's like watching rugby, but everything stops every 5 seconds. I was just getting interested, and now it's stopped again. It's like baseball is just rounders with bigger balls and bats, really. Yeah, that's what I find is, I'm not saying it's not a fun sport. It's a boon for ad companies, yes. It's like the sport was designed around getting as many ad breaks in as possible. Yeah, it's. I mean, it'd be like if every time there was a free kick in football, they stopped for 5 minutes and had an ad break rather than just got on with it. Never mind. I'm not going to slate American sports all stream, although I probably could do. Let's be honest. But yeah, if you've not watched rugby, watch some games of rugby. I'm sorry, Mark, but it's got to be said, especially if you can catch some All Blacks games, the New Zealand team. There's a certain style and panache. It used to be, you'd get the All Blacks versus France, which is like who can produce the most skills. Then Jonah Lomu turned up and just destroyed everybody. Rest in peace, Jonah. Yeah. The All Blacks are just too good. Yeah, that is the problem. But then they still lose. Gina, darling, how are you, my dear? Lurking and cleaning. Always good to see you. Oh, my phone's pinging at me. Someone's getting upset with me slating American sports. Yeah, the thing is, the All Blacks tend to lose because they are that good that they just expect to win and don't actually. It's more like if you score 3, we're going to score 4 kind of mentality. And then sometimes the other team just, doesn't play ball, quite literally. Yeah, so anytime I watch an American reacts to rugby video on YouTube, yeah, there's some impressive expressions made on faces. Not quite as good as NASCAR fan reacts to Isle of Man TT. Oh, yeah, that one does. They're crazy. They're mental. What? They're doing 200 mile an hour through a town. You know, there's a little bit of padding on some of the lampposts, but that's about it. I wouldn't recommend watching Formula One though. Not because it's like some boring procession, but because just, yeah, it's just not enjoyable to watch really. Things can turn left and right. Yeah, it's weird, that, Mark. America has actually got some pretty decent racetracks. And we all know Laguna Seca. That's kind of cool. Americans' version of Eau Rouge, you know, it's back to front and wrong way around, but yeah, it'll do. Willow Creek, although that one is shaped kind of perversely. Road Atlanta, Sebring, Road America, Cota. Yeah, it's Texas trying to do a racetrack, so yeah. I actually watched the IndyCar race around Circuit of the Americas one year. Are those cars really that bad? They just can't keep them on the track. Literally 5 laps into that race, even if it had been a sports car race, an endurance race, 5 laps in, everyone will be getting drive-through penalties for going off the track. So yes, there's a tarmac runoff area, but the white line is the edge of the track. Regard it as a concrete wall, which is the way it's generally worked over here. Yeah. All 4 wheels over the white line is a penalty. Or is a warning. Oh, okay, the average NASCAR driver would have a fit driving around Bathurst. Yeah. Oh, who was it? Was it Darrell Waltrip? They took on a lap around there, and he was pretty much screaming and crying. Darrell or Bobby? It was one of the Waltrips. But yeah, Bathurst, the only racetrack in the world where one of the dangers is kangaroos. Get some honking down the Conrod at 150 odd mile an hour, and a kangaroo hops out in front of them. You know, good day, welcome to Australia, mate. But yeah, V8 supercars are fun to watch. But I do prefer mixed class racing. It makes things a lot more interesting. So is it the 1,000 miles, 1,000 kilometers, or 12 out? Not 12 out. There's one which is a bunch of different lower grade sports cars. With the like the top grade being like M3 or M4 BMW, and bottom grade being a Hyundai Elantra or something like that. Completely road legal kind of car. They're fun. But yeah. I'll say Oz has got some awesome racetracks as well. I mean, Bathurst is up in the top 10 world tracks. Phillip Island, Pukekohe, that's New Zealand, isn't it? But yeah, a lot of the tracks at the V8 supercars are on now, especially the street circuits. Yeah, a bit nuts. Gold Coast 500 when it rains is especially interesting. Hey, we're into motorsport across the world. And we've got 11 people here, so let me know what your favourite kind of motorsport is if you have one, or if you find it as tedious as watching paint dry. As if it's something I don't watch a lot of. Yeah, it's good prangs when it rains. Um, I haven't watched past few seasons of V8 Supercars because I think licensing rights and what have you means it doesn't come on YouTube till like 3 or 4 years later. So, are Jamie Whincup and Craig Lowndes still racing? Because Lowndesy was old the last time I watched it. What was that wind? Breeze? No, that sounds like someone's flying an electric radio controlled helicopter. Weird noise outside, wondered what it was. And it's like, oh yeah, that's an RC helicopter. Sad when you can tell these things. Yeah, so motor racing. Yeah, World Endurance Championship. If you've got 4, 6, 12, or 24 hours to spare, some really good racing. Everything from the ludicrous hypercars, the LMP2s, and then you get the GT cars, which, if you or I were to drive, we'd be scared poopless because they're ridiculously fast. Ferraris and Porsches and Lamborghinis and things like that, tuned for racing. Sort of 500 or 600 horsepower. We'd fill our pants fairly rapidly. Then you see the hybrid prototypes just go like they're standing still. Okay. Oh, so you've got 1,000 horsepower. Okay. And four-wheel drive. Brilliant. Yes. There's a lot of different teams in it as well this season. Now it's switched to hypercar. A Lamborghini will be there next year. Yes. Very fun. If you like motorsports. So we did the cycling, we've done the fishy wishies. Has there been much else happening this week other than grumbling about the weather being too damn hot? Yes, I know. People from hot states or from down under, 30 is not hot, but I'm a well-insulated Englishman. 30 degrees is ridiculously hot, especially for September. Thankfully, this is the last day of it, though, so should be in the mid-20s tomorrow and then low 20s for the rest of the week. So we shall see. I might even go on another bike ride during the week on my day off. It might be better to just, give the bike a wash and clean the chain and re-oil it and all that kind of stuff. Pump the tyres back up. Although it's technically a hybrid, it's not really designed to use off-road. What the bike is, the tyres I'm running on, so made it a little bit interesting. I did manage to get up to 25 mile an hour though, which is fairly good going. A bit scary, and I did see some, plenty of wildlife. Let's put it that way. Saw a couple of buzzards, a red kite. lots of squirrels, including one which was nearly suicidal. It did that thing that some animals do when they dart out in front of you, panic, dart back a bit, panic, dart back the other way, and you just like, don't run it over. We don't want a squirrel in the spokes. So yeah, that one escaped. A couple of deer. Didn't see any badgers, but I did see lots and lots of badger sets, which is an awesome thing because badgers are such cool animals. You wouldn't want one as a pet, but they're awesome. Basically, our equivalent of a skunk, but they don't smell, and more aggressive and stronger. That's why badger baiting was a sport way back. And they would set a group of dogs on the badger, and sometimes the badger would win. Stocky little sods. Yeah, it's all very interesting. Yes. See something moving out there. Oh, it's all right. It's just a blackbird. Yes, only fish. So there we go. I've kind of got to the end of my waffle. Is there anything anyone would like to talk about? Any questions? Feed it back and I will waffle or attempt to answer. Yeah, so some other things. Yeah, on the ride, what was it I drank? 4.5 litres of water, a litre of pop, quarter litre of recovery drink, half a litre of energy drink, and I was still dehydrated when I got home. Yeah. At least being dehydrated means the heat didn't affect what it normally affects with me, which is the back end. So things were too dry to be runny. Not a nice thought, I know, but I was actually quite relieved that that didn't happen. Breeze is getting up. Clouds are starting to come over. Yes, it should be a bit cooler tomorrow. Also, another question. Are there any videos that anyone would like to see me make or attempt to make? As the weather slowly gets worse, chances are there'll be less exploring and visiting ye olde churches and stuffs. Generally because it's not a fun thing to do when it's peeing down the rain and freezing cold. Well, I've still got a few pretty local ones I can do. I've not done Little Ellingham or Caston or Scolton or Wood Rising. Yeah, there's a long list of churches around here I've not visited or have seen. Evening Mal has Aquarium Daily payrolled me for the big live stream quiz off. No. No. I shall see if I can get that day off work though. If there's a big one, big live stream going, then big quiz, yes, I'll be in for that. Unless, of course, Andrew decides to pay me not to answer. joke. I was like, yeah, they're always good fun though, the quizzes. Bit of good-natured banter and ripping. Oh, start a bidding war. Oh, Yella's here. Hey, even Sam. A bit late, heading home right now. Don't worry, as you know, sir, there's never any. You must be here at this start time or else. And if you got Drew's link or stuff, stick it in there, you know. Oh, baby Shelley's. Yay. Teams. Here's against the Aquarium. Against the Aquarium Adventures quiz. Ooh. Now you see, that's where I'm kind of stuck in the middle. Might have to sit that one out. There we go. Thank you very much, Sam. Fishy Biz's Educating Future Fish Keepers Fund on his Cash App, PayPal, and all the donations go to the kiddos. Well, we don't mind that one coming up. Oh, God, we've got another Limmy has decided it wants to be in the breeder box with the. Oh, two. Yeah, we've got at least two, if not three Limmies in the breeder box. Yay! Thankfully, the placklets are now too big for the Limmies to eat, so we're all right there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably torn. Whose team would I be on? Graham's or Andrew's? Yeah, I could be Quizmaster. Be prepared for some absolutely evil questions, though. It's back in the day when I used to do the local pub quiz. And yeah, had the same issue of yeah, the other teams used to get upset when I won it. So one week, yes, I did set the questions, and the scores dropped to less than half of what they normally would be. Yay! You know, I set questions I would think were hard. Yeah. Things like, at what rate I need a middleman, I could do it brilliant. Well, if either of them ask or offer, then we'll see what happens. I'm not going to go, I'll do it, when I've not been asked, because that would be rude. But yeah, if I'm about, I'll either gladly do it, or I'll set a list of questions and email them to somebody. It all depends how many questions and whether I could. Yeah, I'd have to find stuff that wasn't easily Googleable. Something like, at what rates were English soldiers dying in the first day of the Battle of the Somme? Something silly like that. 1 every 4.4 seconds. Yeah, scary. Let that one sink in. 19,000 dead by noon. And yeah, by the end of it, it was 1 million casualties per side, 300,000 dead for 6 miles. Howdy, Ricky. How you doing? Ooh, pardon me. Got some good burps going on tonight. Well, you know, what is the longest range battleship hit on a moving target? Which ship? Oh no. Got another one. Another escapee. Oh. Just woke up for the second time. It's nearly 12 a.m. I know that feeling well, Ricky. I've been there, done that many a time. So, excusing Algie, as we can see, things are looking a little less crowded in here today, as 10 of the adults have gone. Soon restock itself, though, with the amount of babies that are in there. Gorgeous little Shelley dwellies. And, all tangled up again. So, yeah. One escaped baby bristlenose. Not so baby, really. It's about the size of a limia now. Yeah, the usual cloud of limias. Oh, and happy caras. No, I want to be on camera. No, I want to be on camera. Hello. Yeah, then the baby's in there. We've got no one interesting down the bottom. Just a bunch more limias. Actually, it wasn't Yamato, no. It wasn't even something with 16-inch guns, Mark. It's something with 15-inch guns. That'd be a good clue for you. And I know I showed these all off in the video earlier this week, but never a bad time to show fishy wishies. A bit cloudy, but you know, I thought it was probably jam solid, as is that one. This has been a week, and then yeah, more bristlage, and if I attempt to actually untangle this cable, it's probably going to snap. But if we pull it out as far as we can, we might be able to see the new fishies in there. There we go. Just about visible. As I say, I'll keep them in the dark for a day, let them calm down and settle, and I'll feed them tomorrow, and we'll go from there. And if after a week they're looking all good and healthy, or maybe 2 weeks, we'll move them over into the tank they're going to be living in and hope they get on well with Mr. Pisto. Because if not, then I've got to find a new home for Mr. Pisto. And I've got a funny feeling the limia would probably beat him up if I stuck him in there. As they beat up the Nanacaras. There you go, Sam, have a drink. And the other Apisto that I put in there, they killed him. So that will always have to go into one of the fry tanks, probably the bottom one, because it's generally friendlier for other fish in there. Don't get issues with any cloudies or nastiness. So Yamato, basically the world's biggest target. The same with Musashi, the sister ship. Yeah, it weren't then Well, either of them that had the longest hit. It was a ship renowned for its plot armor and refusing to die, despite the fact it should have died many times. One of very few to actually survive a hit from a Fritz X, which was the Germans' guided bomb in the Second World War. That breeze is certainly getting up, and it's cooling off very rapidly, and I'm very happy about that. So yes, what else have we been up to this week? Anything interesting? Oh, found another amusing, fun channel to watch. It's probably going to bit out of left field. Oh, not right out of left field. Drain Cleaning Australia. Yeah, weird, I know, but strangely satisfying watching someone with a typical Australian sense of humour, called Bruce, which is even funnier, unblocking drains. There's something strangely satisfying about it. It's not necessarily something to watch while you're eating your tea. Yeah. There you go. Drain Cleaning Australia if you want something amusing to watch for a bit. What other videos, things have I watched this week? Ooh, can't remember really. It's been too hot. My brain don't work when it's hot. Howdy M&C, how you doing? Hope all is well with you. Merton Kerr. So I'm just trying to think, what else have I watched? Unblocking drains. Young people reacting to older songs. Oh, hilarious watching woke people react to Lola by the Kinks. Watch a bit of scrap metal, sorry, T80s. Well, you know, T80s are okay, but they're no T90. I've got a T80 up there. Must have a T80 up there somewhere. Hold on a mo. 90, 90, 54. No. No. No T80s up there. God. There is one somewhere, I know. That's a T54 with half its dozer blade missing. That's a T62, sorry. Is it? Is that a T62? Or is that a T80? That's T62. But when in doubt, there's only one tank. There's only one best tank ever. KV2, except no substitute. And no, I would not be surprised if the Russians started breaking them back out of the museums. Drink yesterday all the cocktails in the pub. Yes, drain unblocking is actually a video. It is channels and channels of people unblocking drains. And it's one of those things that is surprisingly... I mean, there were power washing, you know, people getting the old Karcher, basically, professional version of the power washer, and not cleaning people's driveways. Weirdly, if you've got a good host for them, 152mm mark is a short barrel version of one of the 6-inch cruiser guns. Then they updated it, gave it a long barrel, and made it an SU-152. Which they then converted that to the BL-10, which was just a troll cannon. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Exactly. We'll call it a typo. The 122 was on things like, well, the 122 was generally on the actual tanks by the end of the war. It was on the IS-1, IS-2, I want to say. I don't think the IS-3 had the 122. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, the T-72 onwards started being produced in the middle of the Cold War, so yeah, little out of date now. But then, direct hit would still take out a modern battle tank. Morning, Adele, sweetie. How are you? Yeah, we were just talking about tanks and drain cleaning videos in Australia. The usual combination of weirdness that happens here. Yes. Yeah, the SU-122 obviously had a 122. The ISU-122 as well. Used to the weird topics that happen here. Yeah, we've not got onto ladies' underwear yet, so you're safe. It's been all sorts of strangeness today, including new fish. I was thinking woke Lola. Yeah, yeah. They were rather upset about the content of the lyrics of Lola, about how it was transphobic. No, not fancying someone doesn't mean you're scared of them. Yeah, I've been watching the usual sort of Karens and entitled brats getting what's coming to them sort of videos as well. And the what's it called? Support Court is another one I've been watching lately. Basically, people getting their child support, but some days, some of those videos are hilarious. When it's like someone who thinks they shouldn't be paying child support because the person that's looking after their children is their family. But that's what families are meant to do. No, you are not the father. Exactly. That's paternity court, that one, isn't it? Yeah. Seriously, why do these people need to go to court to figure this stuff out? Everything is phobic these days, yes. Oh my God, you're fat phobic. No, I'm not scared of fat people. I can run away from them. Yeah, so some of them are just epically awesome. It's the so I'm going to award $3,000 a month. Yeah. No, you're paying that to them. Huh? There's the sudden drop in their face as they realise that they're the ones that are going to have to pay it because they're not the ones looking after the children. Yeah, Yeah, this caught that one on the shorts. Yeah, that is very funny. I mean, the full-length video is even funnier because you find out just what some of these people are like, and there was one I was watching yesterday or this morning, perhaps, where a couple have got divorced. Hello, Debs. How are you, my dear? Yeah, a couple have got divorced. Dad got custody, but the wife took him to court for child support and alimony payments because she thought she should be getting paid because her responsibility was to have the children. So she ended up paying child support for all 5 of them. Only 3 of them were, no, only 2 of them were this guy's actual biological kids. The other 3 were from previous partners of her. And she's like, well, why have I got to pay child support for those ones? Because they're not even his. Like, yeah, they're still yours, and he's looking after them. So, yeah, she wasn't a happy bunny. Dog stunk from the dog park, so I had to bathe her. Not a euphemism. Oh dear. Doggo been rolling in things doggo shouldn't be rolling in. Or sniffing the back end of things that shouldn't be sniffed. Yeah, I mean, some people are just so delusional. It's unreal. You think, how do you even focus in life? Or how do you even function as a human being when you're that delusional? What fish did I get? Oh, that'd be telling. That'd be telling. Bolivian Ramsden. Got a trio of Bolivars. And there, just down there. There's one right in our fingertip. Yeah, they're being kept dark and in chill mode while they're in quarantine. Well, for a day, and then I'll put the light on tomorrow. So when I feed them, they can actually see what they're eating, and then I can actually see if they're healthy as well. They've not got any colour at the moment. They're basically, that colour fish get when they get stressed and they lose all their colours. Oh, fox poop, yes. That was another shock I actually got on my bike ride. I was riding down a mixed use pathway for walkers, cyclists, and horses. There were actually piles of horse poop. First time I've seen that on a bridleway. But yeah, fox poop is generally the favourite of dogs in the UK to roll in. It's good and stinky. Yeah, so it's a trio. I don't know if I got males or females. Hopefully a mix. At least one of each will be good. And see if we can't do breedies. So I'm not sure how we don't have a master breeders program thingy in the UK. I'm not entirely sure how the US one works on points and what have you, and whether it would class like different types of the same thing as a different fish. But it'd be interesting to see if I could figure out whether I've got enough points to be a master breeder rather than just a master baiter. That's a fishing joke, by the way, not anything perverse. Lurkers replay Team 6. Sure you're not a gravy seal? Master breeding, I mean, in the States they have like in the aquarium clubs, they have like a program where you get a certain amount of points for breeding different species of fish. And if you get enough points, you become a master breeder. I know Bentley Pascoe is trying to put together, or has put together, one for plants. Oh, big tank's looking good. Nitrates, ammonia, 0. And pH 7.2 to 7.4. Pop a couple of guppies in it. And a bristle nose. Need a bristle nose. At least one male and one female. Deb's got 4 golden rams 2 weeks ago. Only Julies, and they seem to be doing well so far. The club does. So it's like you go, I bred these, and they go. That's the only thing that hasn't quite recovered yet from the bike ride. Nipple chafage. Adele knows a good source of plecos. I mean, as strong and healthy as mine are, I doubt they'd survive the trip. But, yeah, Craig. Well, I mean, as Craig actually commented on my video from this week, he's like, we're basically the same, just in different sides of the planet. Well, obviously, you've got to have 2 bristle noses, Debs. Never have too many bristle noses. Well, most people can't. Yeah, I mean, I think the whole master breeders thing is just a virtual willy waving contest, as it were. Ooh, look what I've bred! But you know, it'd be nice to. I mean, even if it's just 1 point per species bred, then it'd be nice to, you know, tot them up and see whether I could go, oh yes, I am a master breeder. Again, just for virtual willy waving. Oh, and Dell's waiting for albino longfins. I ain't got none of them. I could do your super red longfins. And in the past, I would have been able to do your common longfins. Thousand points to Ricky. 1,000,000 points. I mean, so the whole master breeder program, I haven't got the to actually set anything up or do anything properly. I was wondering how many points it was to get there and how many species it had to be. Because I'm pretty sure breeding the same species twice doesn't count to extra points. Because otherwise I'd just be a master bristlenose breeder. Let me try and think, what have I actually bred successfully? Should we go back to the real beginning of Sharpe's fish keeping journey? Platies, cribs, Pelvicochromis pulcher, guppies, mollies, swordtails, Pistogramma cacatoides, Pelvicochromis subocellatus, Neolamprologus similis, Ancistrus, super red Ancistrus, longfin Ancistrus, longfin super red Ancistrus, shrimp. If you get points for every colour of shrimp you bred, then I'll get all of them. Lumia, probably some other stuff there I've forgotten about. Oh, congratulations, Mark. Got some cherry barb fry in the community tank. Hopefully they do well. You can then do a video with There's my cherry barb. Sorry. It's either going to be that or here's my cherry barb. Master breeder would be breeding one species of jack of all fish for those who breed different. Yeah, you'd think so. In that case, then I would certainly be a master bristlenose breeder. Didn't expect anything other than the bristlenoses to survive. Well, there you go. Oh yeah, there's all the inappropriate jokes. Same with the master beta thing, as I do have a T-shirt which has got a picture of a catapult on it, and it says Master Beta, which is a fishing joke, basically. And I've got another one that says the way to a man's heart is through his fly, and it's got a picture of a fishing fly on there. Yeah, so cherry barbs are on my list of fish I would like to keep because they're barbs and they're kind of chill rather than psychotic murder barbs. It's like they're pretty and they're chill. Got to be the best of what you do. Be a master. Well, yeah, I'm too old to be an apprentice, aren't I? Hogwash. Yes, that was Seaman Stains and Master Bates on Captain Pugwash. Oh yeah, well you know we're male, so yeah, I'm a Pokemon master. Yeah, I'm not throwing my balls at furry animals. Let's just put it that way. Certainly not in the wild. That's purely for a man and his dog and his jar of peanut butter. Don't Google that. You do not want to see that video. That's how I was kicked out of petting zoo. If I was going to get kicked out of a petting zoo for anything, it would be for just laying down in the bunny enclosure and getting a real good bunnering. Getting them all having lots of fusses and licks, and that's the bunnies licking, not me. I just love bunnies. Bunnies are just so cute and soft and floofy and awesome. There are few cuter pets that you can keep legally. They've got such attitudes to them. Pardon me. They're not smelly. They're not noisy. They just chew everything. They really do like eating the spicy hay, which is anything that plugs into the electrics. So yeah, phone chargers, they love those. But yeah, bunnies rock. And that's Pokemon is mentioned. Gina comes back. Jeff's going to say My Little Pony. Oh dear, I know jokes about My Little Ponies that are not suitable. Yes, all these multifasciatus. Yeah, I don't have any multifasciatus. I have a similis, which are basically the same as multi. So I think it's just the striping is the opposite direction. So it's like copper, silver, rather than silver, copper, silver, copper. I think that's pretty much the only difference. Yeah, basically identical fish. When it comes to how they look, how they behave. Nanakara anomaly. There you go. You can have another drink, Sam. Similis, exactly. That's why they got the name. They are a different species, but they're very similar. It's one of those things that I just find weird. Is that all the fish species, you get something that's so similar, like let's say the Neolamprologus, you got the Similis and the Multifasciatus. They're different species, they've got different names, but then you look at all the different types of dog, from something the size of a Great Dane or an Irish Wolfhound down to something you know. Adele's probably found bigger spiders in her house, and Mark. Yet they're all the same scientific species. Which is kind of mind-blowing, really, when most other species are very, very similar, and if they're remotely different, they get given a different name. Samacara. Oh, yes, we need some Samacaras. Just putting some new furniture together now. Yeah, Pokemon. Yeah, we were talking about master breeders, and someone mentioned being a Pokemon master. Um, too old. I missed the Pokemon craze completely. I was already over Magic the Gathering when Pokemon came out. Well, so yeah, I never bothered with it. So yeah, about all I know about Pokemon is apparently a Charizard is worth a lot of money. Pikachu is an annoying rat thing, and the rest of it involves putting small furry animals in your balls. Talk about poking men. Oh dear. Yes. Good luck with the new furniture anyway, Gina, because we all know how that goes sometimes. Rainbow Charizard, yeah, whatever one of those is. I'm guessing some kind of lizard. And with the fire lizard. The other one that sticks to mind is Squirtle, but again, that's a different kind of YouTube video. Well, not even YouTube. That's on a hub somewhere, apparently. Itchy schnoz. Time to have a clear out and get the scissors up there and or do a blackie and just get the lighter and go. That does actually work. You've got to be very careful. Sniffing flames, I wouldn't recommend it. Ooh, pardon me. There's so many better things to sniff. Flowers. I'll take a Pikachu. You can watch me. Oh. Mm. That's grim. Oh, yeah. I'm not. So we're going back to Jeff saying the Samacara. I was picturing a cichlid that just sits just off the bottom doing that. Nukikara. Yeah, that's when they successfully breed. 245 Scots before I went to the dog park today, so ahead of schedule. You just wanted to get the squats in so that your butt was good and proud and firm, didn't you? Just so you could show it off to all the ladies. Blue waffle googling got me into trouble at work. I was told it was blueberry pancakes, so I looked. Oh dear. Yeah, only thing you need to know about Pokemon is it took 26 years while the person stayed 10 years old for 26 years to complete the goal. Like the Simpsons. How old is the Simpsons and Maggie is still a baby? It makes you think, what? Yeah, I think I might have seen a couple of episodes of the cartoon when it was on TV randomly, and I was just bored or ill, probably ill. Um, I didn't know the characters were still that young, or were that young. Jeez, Elmo is still 3.5. Oh, well, Muppets don't get old. Muppets are created at the age they are, and they stay the same age forever. And just about visible. Cookie Monster. Or as he would be known in the UK, Biscuit Monster. Well, these days you're probably not allowed to call something monster in a children's program. Then Pokemon is pocket monsters, isn't it? Which sounds really perverse when you think about it. All right, darling, you want to see my pocket monster? Tom and Jerry have an unusually long lifespan for a cat and mouse. Same with Mickey. All the Sesame Streets of the world have their own versions of Big Bird. He's still Big Bird in the UK. When they created the Tickle Me Elmo doll, they were hiring test ticklers. This is sponsored by an energy drink. Yeah. Trying to remember what it was. There was a time when the Disney employees used to refer to the company as Mauschwitz. And then an email got sent around to everyone banning them from using Mauschwitz because it's bad. It doesn't reflect well on the company. And like within an hour, it was being called Duckow. The word monster is ableist against people who identify as Sasquatch. Yes, Mauschwitz, exactly. Yes, then Duckow. That right there is just enough to let you know that you don't want to work for Disney. Duckow. Duckau. Yeah, took some concentration. It was a solution, yes. Uh, yeah, and that reminds me of the episode of South Park where Kyle's ADHD cousin came to stay and he was going about. And Kyle paid Cartman like $20 to not make any offensive jokes. He was struggling, but he was doing okay. He was doing okay. He was getting there, getting there, getting there. And then they're in class, and and the cousin keeps mucking around, interrupting and things. And then the teacher says, "Well, you know, in this class we concentrate. We do, we concentrate." And he's like, "Oh, sorry, I really can't concentrate because of blah 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 blah." Cartman just comes out with, "Maybe you need to go to concentration camp." So dark. Thank you very much, Ricky, for 10 months. Zach says thank you as well. He is gazing at you lovingly, not with, not judging like he normally does. Mark, 14 months. Wowzers. And Linkbot's getting all confused again. Yeah, that's only South Park could get away with those kind of jokes. Weird emojis coming up. Yeah. And then I watched woke people reacting to South Park, bigger, longer, uncut. And if you don't get that joke, yeah, they were very offended. I can't believe people actually watched this, and this was allowed to be made and released. And but you can't say this, you can't say that. Like every joke was just like, oh, you can't say that. Oh, but no, the reason people have to respect my authority. 1 year, 1 month, and 7 days. Woohoo! So yeah, but the only problem with me rewatching that was I then went around singing the songs for the next couple of days. Family Guy has got the dark humour as well. Now, the jokes have to be made because it's not the joke itself that's offensive. It's the implications and the way that it's worded very carefully makes people think, and that's why we need to keep it and why we shouldn't get rid of history. And because it's not poking fun at that person, it's poking fun at the people who poke fun at that person for being different or being something else. Geez, imagine taking a bunch of wokists to go see George Carlin or Bill Hicks. Oh dear, that would not go well. Nice. Again, it's just people getting offended for other people. I don't see the point. Yeah, or Jimmy Carr. Yes, the English version of those two. Actually, probably even more offensive when he wants to be. Yeah, there's plenty of videos up on YouTube of like Jimmy Carr's most offensive jokes. And the shock on people's faces, and or Frankie Boyle. Same with Frankie Boyle. But yeah, they're funny. It's humour. It's that disconnect just isn't there these days with some people. I think if you make a joke about something, you mean it. No. I know all sorts of highly offensive jokes that I would not dream of telling in a live stream. Yes, I'm not familiar. Everything is offensive nowadays. Yeah, pretty much. So it kind of works okay for me because I enjoy offending people. especially if people prove that they're easily offended. Don't get offended, Adele. Yes, I just don't get it. But yeah, I enjoy trolling people and upsetting them. Yeah, that is the problem. People getting offended on behalf of other people who don't ask for people to be offended. I want to me get offended. I'm sure I could manage it, Adele. Man, oh Mal, careful. She'll strangle you with her hair. Yeah, I find you being offended offensive. Throw it right back at them. Yeah, I've done that before. I was talking to some people at work a few weeks ago, colleagues, and no customers around. Talking about our partners, and so I was saying about Mary, and well, she walks with sticks and she's got wheels because help her get around and things like that. One of my colleagues said, well, what has she got those for? Oh, because she's a spastic. And she's like, oh, you can't say that. You can't say, oh, you can't. Oh, no. I'm like, no, she literally got the medical, diagnosis. That is what she has. I'm not taking the mickey. I'm not being cruel or mocking anyone by saying that. It is a matter of fact. Much like if you say Donald Trump is a bellend. This is a matter of fact. It doesn't have that connotation. Yeah, I mean, over here, I think the reason it got the bad connotation was there was a character. Yeah, exactly. She has spastic muscles in her leg, in her legs. So it's not dyspraxia. Is it not dyspraxia? I can't remember the other term, but yeah. So she gets a wobble on, and it's no big deal. She deals with it perfectly fine, and she's actually getting better. It's like her brain tells her that the floor is uneven when it's not. So she's sort of trying to go up a step that isn't there or down a step that isn't there on a slope. She's actually completely fine on like grass and rough surfaces. It's not nothing to do with the traipsing around churches. She's absolutely fine on rougher surfaces, but put her on a smooth floor, and that's when she starts struggling. Although she's getting better, things are improving. Where were we? But yeah, I'll say the reason that spastic has the bad connotations in the UK is there was a children's program with a spastic character in it called Joey Deacon, and kids being kids, that character became like the character that you mocked, as we did back in the 80s. So it became an offence. I walked down a flight of stairs. Yeah. It's basically how Mary has it when she's walking anywhere flat. She'll see a step that's not there and go, ugh. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we all do that one occasionally, but it's a legitimate condition. It's not mocking. She's got the little blue card that you stick in the dashboard of the car that lets you park in the special parking bay. But I'm extremely proud of her, and she's, without kind of realizing it, she started a second job yesterday. She went down for a chat at the place and ended up working a 4-hour shift. It's just a sort of sweet packing kind of job. But yeah, she did 4 hours standing without sticks or wheels, and yeah, they gave her the job there and then. So I mean, she's doing 8 hours a week, but yeah, it's just to top up what she gets from her other job. Keyboard doing that, adding words that I did not type, not auto keyboard. Can't call it ciggies fags anymore. Well, you can in the UK because it's still got the connotation of a fag is a cigarette. Although if you run out and you kind of need one and your mate's got a pack, you don't. These days, you do not say, "Can I bum a fag?" You might say, "Can I borrow one?" You do not say, "Can I bum a fag?" Because, yeah, that just gets all the jokes. Mal's got a blue badge because he had Calpol once. Yeah, but you were 28. Had the candy cigarettes here, changed the name to Fads. I just banned them in the UK. Yeah, I had them as a kid. It was cool. Yes, bumming a fag, yes. To borrow a cigarette. Yeah, so we had them in the UK, and then, as I say, they got banned because it glorified smoking for children. Well, I don't know about you, if you tried eating a cigarette, it's really not pleasant. I mean, the candy ones, or they were chocolate wrapped with a piece of rice paper. They weren't particularly nice anyway to start with. Yeah, now let's not start bringing bread into the equation, Mark. Yeah, let's say, I mean, all our cigarette advertising is no, can't show it anywhere. Filter gets stuck in your teeth. It's just the taste more than anything. It's bad. The main reason I switched to using filters in my roll-ups is because I got sick of the. If you smoke them unfiltered, you get the odd bit of tobacco goes into your mouth, and it really doesn't taste good. And how people can do the chewing tobacco, I have no idea. It is absolutely foul. Chocolate coins, you only really get them around Christmas time here. And again, like with the chocolate cigarettes, it's not good chocolate. It's cheap and nasty chocolate. Probably Hershey's. But yeah, it's not the kind of chocolate you actually want to eat. You didn't buy the chocolate cigarettes because they were yummy. You bought them because they looked cool. The same with the Bazooka Joe bubble gum. You didn't buy that because you liked the bubble gum. You bought it because you wanted the temporary tattoo that came with the packet. Cheap compounded chocolate, exactly. Cream, sugar, and brown food coloring. Priya was an ongoing joke in jail and prison. Someone was losing at cars, so yelled Priya. Oh, howdy, Dan. Brett Sanders is noticing at Norwich. Everyone's leaving. Oh, dear. Yeah, chewing tobacco in there. I'm still tempted with a pipe, though. I think I might have to try one. I'll have a look on Amazon, see what there is. Yeah, so you've left, Brett's left. Yeah, it's. I won't wait for the phone call. Cadbury's 1,000 times better than Hershey's. Yeah, and Cadbury's is not great chocolate. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Popped into Norwich, got some floating plants and cleared them out. acid. I popped into Swallow today and supplied them with a bunch of fish and plants. So if you want some Anubias and Cryptoendetii, get down to Swallow. I took them in about 3 foot of Anubias Nana. Take that back, I've offended. Well, I mean, Cadbury is munching chocolate. It's nom 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 nom. Okay, where'd that 200-gram bar of dairy milk go? Never mind. But I mean, I do like a good dark chocolate, or a cream milk chocolate. One made with cream rather than milk. Cadbury Land was great when I was a kid. Oh yeah, yeah. One of those days out where you just prayed you didn't get car sick on the way home because it was going to be vile. Because you're just eating half your body weight in chocolate. 3 foot, about $50. Dad lived in Brum, so when we used to go visit, he would take us. So being where we are now, it would have been the Nestle factory. Nestle. But yeah, the main Nestle factory used to be in Norwich. And apparently it used to smell of chocolate all the time in the city. Or depending on which way the wind was blowing, it either smell of chocolate or mustard. Better than Attleborough. Depending on which way the wind's blowing here, either smells of pigs or chickens. So neither is good. Was it Nestle or was it Roundtrees? There was one of them. I think it was Nestle. Might have been Roundtrees, a big factory in Norwich. And then it all got shut down. Yeah, the Coleman's factory, the Coleman's mustard, which is a brand famous worldwide or known worldwide. The factory, yeah, is just on the outskirts of Norwich, which is, as I say, 17 miles away. Something which I love is only available in the UK. I'll take a few boxes back. Milky Bar pudding. Oh yeah. Used to love Milky Bar as a kid. As I've got older, I just find white chocolate sickly more than anything. It's just too sweet. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like sweet stuff, but I just find white chocolate that bit too sickly. Especially if I eat it in the quantity I normally eat chocolate in, which is like by the half pound at a time. When the sun set in Idaho, it was either the dairy farms or the Mormon churches that would stink of BS. Keen's is curry powder. Coleman's is the proper vivid yellow mustard. Saw the vid on the newscape, the camera issues, the camera work. Yeah, I don't know what the GoPro's doing. It just decides it wants to stop filming after 13 minutes. Whether it's something to do with the memory card being full, so I, deleted a bunch of crud off of that. Don't know. We'll see. But ye oldie camcorder is still working absolutely fine. I just have to be a bit more careful when I film stuff with the GoPro. Yeah, just a few snails. Which is the reason why I rescaped it, because it was, just full of trumpet snails. I've got other tanks that got similar amounts in as well, so I'll have to reduce the numbers. I did try assassin snails, but by the time the trumpet snails have got to the point where you go, I need to do something about them, then there's too many of them for the assassins to keep on top of. Try recording in a different mode. Make sure you're using quality SD card. I am. Make sure camera is being charged fully and properly. Reformat the SD card. I haven't done that, but I'll tomorrow. Yeah, I might just set it to record something random tomorrow while I'm doing water changes and see what it does. Because the thing is, the file stops, but the timer carries on clicking over, so I have no idea. I did wonder if perhaps the camera was getting hot, because sometimes they will do that if they get warm, but yeah, we'll find out. It sounds like yes, it might be. So yeah, I've cleared it, but yeah, if that don't work, I shall reformat it if I can figure out how. There's probably a really simple option that you plug the SD card in and go click reformat, done. Yeah, I can't remember. It's decent. So it's a SanDisk one. I think it's 32 gig. Maybe there's a software update. Yeah. Maybe it is. Maybe I just need to connect it to my laptop for a bit. I might try that as well if that don't work. Because first thing I did was, once I got it set up, is delete the apps. Yeah, there's nothing on there I need to back up, because once I record a video, it goes onto the laptop. So it's just whether I remember to delete it off the camera, which has led to some interesting ones where I've gone to film a video and I've got like 3 minutes left on the SD card. Yeah, it's 32 gig SanDisk, I think, so it should be okay. But yeah, I'll just blanket and reformat it, and I might fix it, because I know it used to film 30 minutes quite happily, so could just been the SD card was over full, yeah, something like that. I don't know. Or as you say, yeah, something might have changed in the settings on the card and I've not realised it. We'll figure it out. I'll probably do those. At some point I'll rescape another tank, and at some point I'll probably redo the ride. Although I probably, I knew it's cooler. If it had been like 22, 25 degrees, I wouldn't have had any issues on the ride. So it would have probably taken me maybe 5 hours in total to do the 50 miles. But you know, 32 gig isn't very big. It is in my book. I think it's 32. Let me grab the GoPro. It's just over here somewhere. GoPro. Where art thou, GoPro? Oh, yeah, there it is. Oh dear, it's dark already. GoPro. Quite why the little case thing it goes in has to be so tight, I have no idea. What does it say on it? Oh, 128 gig. Elite micro SD XC1 blah blah blah. Not that you can actually see, but yeah, 128 gig. 32 gig is what's in the camcorder. You know, see, I'm old. To me, 32 gig is still a lot of memory. And we've opened it up the wrong way around, so put the light back there. That goes there. Tripod. Glasses cleaning wipes, always good to have when you're using cameras. And little hard carry case to keep everything safe. Exactly, Mark. Probably get 128 quid. 32 gig. How long? Yeah, it's probably considerably cheaper these days for 128 gig than the 32 was. I bought 32 7 years ago. Yeah, something like that. Look at some ashtrays. So one I really like. Cost around 200,000 rupees, so £2,000. Yeah, I think yeah, if you yeah, it's probably best not to. Yeah. Um, I generally just use the good old fashioned. I mean, that price is it actually just, it's not a turtle shell one, it's the full turtle that's been bred with a, yeah, $50 for 400 gigabyte. Gonna do it anyway because you don't care. Yeah, probably. There is that. Let's be real. Exactly. So, you know, thanks for those ideas. I'll give those a go with the GoPro. It's kind of annoying because I would have liked to have filmed the entire ride. I know it's not the most visually enticing because it's literally just riding down a pathway between trees, but exactly, I'll give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? Cheetahs and elephants embossed into it are very posh. So I tend not to worry about what an ashtray looks like, just so long as it holds enough ash and ciggies that I don't have to empty it every 6 hours. Um, Ideally, one of the ones you used to get in the pubs. You get name brand 32 gig SD card. Yeah, probably get cameras now for less than what I paid for that SD card. Uh, and the only reason I upgraded that is because when I started filming videos on that camcorder, I realised that my 1 gig SD card wasn't really big enough. Because yeah, I'm that old. Ash out the window. World is my ashtray now. Well, you're just increasing the potash in the soil, aren't you? Anyway, thank you everyone for showing up. I need to get something to eat and drink and cool down a bit because I'm wearing far too much clothing for this temperature. Have a good week. As I said, thanks to everyone for being here. Stay safe. Peace out. Rock on. Bye bye. Mondays suck do 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 do. Mondays suck do 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 do. Mondays suck do 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 do. Arjumad.